I've been looking for one of these sleds for quite some time now. This right here is a 1972 Arctic Cat Panther with a 303 Wankel rotary engine in it. I've definitely seen a few for sale. I just haven't been able to get one for a good price or that's been in decent shape. This thing is certainly a barn find. It's got a little damage to it here and there. She's got a few bumps and bruises here and there, but overall this thing's in nice shape. So let me tell you the story on this one. I picked this up not too far away from me, maybe 10 miles away in Brownington, Vermont. This lady posted this thing for sale on Craigslist, and it had one picture of it, and it wasn't a great picture. You could see kind of like maybe this side profile, and stuff was just buried everywhere around it. Tools and wood and everything. It was in a barn. Anyways, it wasn't very far. I figured I better go check it out. So I got her address. I knew the rough area she was in. I just never been on that specific road of hers. It was off a back road onto another back road on another back road. When I say back road, I mean dirt road. But anyways, the road name that she gave me wasn't actually on the sign. There was a different name on the sign. So I ended up driving by it. But anyways, I finally made it. Long driveway, got in there. For one, I asked her if I could get the trailer in there, and she said, oh yeah, no problem. So I got there. You know, it's not a big trailer, it's a snowmobile trailer. Anyways, pulled into her driveway. She comes out. I don't know how old this lady is, 60s, 70s. I'm not sure. She was having a little bit of a hard time walking around. But anyways, I got there. I didn't see any barn where this thing would have been in. I asked her, so is sled right around here somewhere? And she said, oh, it's up in the woods a ways. And I was like, okay. And she showed me this little path that goes up in the woods. I mean, it's a pretty good sized path, but the trees are all grown around it and everything. I was like, can I get a trailer up in there? And she said, oh yeah, we used to bring trailers up in there all the time. So she started walking a little bit away from the truck and just said, follow me. And I'm looking up in that road and you can't see any buildings, and you can see a little ways up in that road. And like I said, she was having a hard time walking. I said, do you want to ride with me up in there? She said, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So she got up in the truck, and this building was probably from here to the end of the field, probably, I don't know, 300 yards up in there or so. It was quite a ways, actually. It wasn't very easy to get to either. There was trees down. I was rubbing both sides of my truck. Good thing it's a work truck, doesn't matter. Scratched it up quite a bit, but like I said, didn't matter. I got up in there and I asked if there was a place to turn around in there. She said yes. There was nowhere to turn around this trailer, so I unhooked it from the truck, turned it around by hand. Wasn't a big deal. And then I went in there and I saw the sled. Opened the hood up. I want to make sure the engine, I haven't touched this thing. I want to make sure the engine was free, and it was. It turns over. So I said, yep, I'll take it. There was two doors on the front of this barn, and like half doors. One swung open one way, one swung open the other way. Well, one was free. I could get that open, and I measured it out, and this sled wouldn't fit through that. So I had to open the other one, but there was a tree in the way, grown up through the door. And didn't have any saws with me, didn't have anything. But I was able to take the door off, with her permission, obviously. Took the door off, and I was able to sneak this out between the tree and the other open door. So it's a little bit of a process to get this thing, but I got it. I'm glad I got it. We're gonna see if we can get it running today. Now, she had told me that her father bought this brand new in 1972. Got a great deal, bought this and her sister one. They both had a matching set of the 303 Panthers. And he got a trailer, and I think she said he paid like $750, $500, $750, somewhere around there for the whole package. I know money back then was a little different, but still, that seems like a very good deal. So apparently she moved down to southern New Hampshire quite a long time ago, and she didn't even know her father had this. Unfortunately, he had passed away this past year, I think it was, and she's trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. And she went up into the barn, or I don't even know if she did or somebody that she had working for her went up in the barn, and they saw this, and she was like, oh wow, that was my old sled. Apparently her sisters, she knew that one was gone because that one got run into a tree or something a long time ago when they were kids. But it was just kind of neat hearing the story about this thing, and that it's been in the family ever since it's been brand new. So definitely hoping to get this thing revived, back running, get it on the trails. Went ahead and hooked the R-Max up so I can sneak it in there. It's a little bit smaller than the truck, even though I guess the trailer is probably wider than the truck is, but that's all right. Let's get this in the garage, get it unthawed. Pretty cold this morning. And then we'll see what we can do. You can see the dust on it. There is so much dust on this thing. It's just been sitting in that barn forever. Let's get her in there. All right, get it in here. Let's go ahead and get this thing thawed out. I don't want to get this thing too close, otherwise she'll melt some stuff. That thing throws some heat. There we go. Got most of the snow melted off right now. Now I have no experience and know hardly anything about these rotary engines. Half the reason I wanted to get one of these things just because I've never owned one. I've never worked on one. So, hey, it's about time. So let's open her up. So, as you can see, this is not a normal looking engine. If you're not familiar with these rotary engines, it has no piston, no cylinder, no rings. Basically, it's got a big rotor in there. This is the housing. Then from my understanding on that rotor, there's little apex seals, they call them, basically sealing the surface, and that's what gives you your compression. If these things have been sitting for any period of time, they might be gunked up or seized up. Obviously, the engine's not seized, which is good, but it doesn't mean the seals aren't seized, which would cause a lack of compression. So what we got to do, we got to pull the spark plug and dump some transmission fluid down there, and that might help free up those apex seals if they are seized up. And I don't know how long this thing's been sitting. This thing's 52 years old. My guess is it's probably been sitting for a good 30 years. I don't know that for sure. She didn't even know this thing was still at her father's place. So maybe he was tooling around on it. I don't know. But it's been sitting for a long time. So right in here is our spark plug. Kind of strange being on the side. Most of the snow machines I've dealt with are right on top. I don't know what size spark plug wrench this is, but 13/16 is what most of the older machines ran. I can't even get it in there. Well, let's see if one extension gets in there. Oh yeah. Spark plug actually wasn't very tight, which is probably not good. Might mean somebody's been working on this thing. Plug looks very dry. Looks like it was actually running really good. Huh. All right. Be careful with that seat. I don't want to rip it, so definitely let it thaw out. Go ahead and fill this up with some ATF, some automatic transmission fluid. And we'll go ahead and pump some of that in there. Where are you? There we go, I think, right? Actually, before I do that, see if we can take a sneak peek in there and see if we can see anything here. Kind of looks oily already, doesn't it? Okay, that must be the apex seal, they call it. There's another one. Should be 3. Doesn't look too rusty or anything in there. That's a good sign. Go ahead and squirt some of that in there. Lay some shop rags down. Just go ahead and rotate this a little bit. Try to get some stuff worked in there. That's good for now. Doesn't look like we have any air filter on there. We got a glove. Tell me how long that's been on there. Oh yeah, that's right. Your air filter is built onto these. I've seen a few of those on some other different sleds. No, it's just a mesh screen. I think there's supposed to be the actual filter material on there, but obviously there's not. Throttle's froze right up. I mean, look at that cable right there. She's pretty bad. From what I could tell, the tank actually looked pretty good, surprisingly. You can see that float material kind of eating away. But I mean, if we look in that tank, that thing is in beautiful shape. I would have never guessed that. I would have figured that thing would be rusted bad. I've seen some of these, 1980s ATVs, three-wheelers that have steel tanks and they rust out quick when they're empty. And this thing looks bone dry, but maybe because of the mixed gas and maybe because it was in the barn, I don't know. But I'm glad it's in good shape. This fuel line feels very brittle, but probably should make sure this thing has spark. What did I do with the plug? Right here. Got a Champion plug on there. Put that on. Set that right there to ground it out. Haven't checked this. Oh yeah, it works. I just checked it with the clutch. But alright, so our stop switch is right here. Our ignition switch is right here. It was already on. Must be electric start was an option back then because that has it on the button. Lights must be you can turn them off and on. Most new sleds now have only high and low beams. Brakes. Well, the brake cable's not froze. That I don't know. Okay, so we got the stop. I think that just stays up and that's on. And let's check. Oh my goodness, this is, oh, I was gonna say, this thing is so stiff. That's a steel cable. Instead of a nylon rope, that's a steel cable. Huh. Alright. A little hard to tell, but I didn't see any sparks, so I think we may have a firing issue. I'm pulling this thing. This is so dry that it's actually eating away. That wasn't like that a second ago. It's actually eating away at that plastic there. I guess I gotta pull it straight up. Now, I know these old machines have points and condensers, so we probably better check that out, see if it's rusted or anything. Go ahead and check the grounds here. Check the one on the coil first. Make sure it's nice and clean, not corroded. It actually looks pretty good. I don't think that's going to be our problem. We got a ground right here. That one was actually pretty loose. Tightens up in good shape. Now we got another ground right here. Loosen that up. Now that looks to be right on a painted frame, so I think I'll go ahead and shine up some metal there. Because the only grounding it's getting is from the screw itself. Scratch that up a little bit and also clean this off some. So we'll go ahead and put that back on, tighten that up in good shape. As you can see, I got a brand new plug on there. It's not the right one, but it'll show if we have spark or not. Still no spark, so we're gonna come up here. We're gonna start looking at the kill switch, follow that down. It leads to right here. Go ahead and unplug that. This button's working. So if I put a lead on each side, Got nothing. I'm hitting that button. Nothing's changing. If it was making connection, you would see a little something like that. So we're probably gonna have to tear this switch apart. Actually, you know what? Now we got some broken wires here. So we'll go ahead and fix those first. Put these two together for now and see what we get. Still not working. So the kill switch, I don't know, I can't, usually they come apart pretty easy. This one does not seem to come apart. So it'll have to be replaced, but I did look it up. This is a normally open system, so I can unplug all these switches and this thing should have spark. It's when you ground it out, you know, you close the connection that it'll lose spark. So I got this unplugged. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get some spark now, see what we got. Not expecting to have it, but you never know. Sure doesn't look like it. Nothing there. Don't feel any spark. And if we had any, trust me, I would know after grabbing that plug. Alright, so I'm going to test this coil here to see if the coil's good or not. So we should have spark here without me pulling it over. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it definitely has spark. Now if I put my negative on the ground here and the positive on these blue wires, that should be where the voltage comes in. This recoil has stopped working on me. You can see we're barely getting any voltage, so we definitely have an issue. As much as I didn't want to, I think we gotta tear this whole side off to access the points and condensers. So let's get to removing this plug because we're gonna have to get this out of the way. Push that over. Then we got some bolts to remove here. Pull the engine mount here. One side of them anyways. I bet you this is the first time a battery-powered impact has ever been on this machine. That side cracked. Sticking on the bottom where the engine mounts. Oh, it won't come out of there without lifting that, must be. Yeah, right up you go. I think I can slide it up enough now, right? Maybe. There's that side of that. Alright, so everything's under this fan. That off of there. Probably need a puller, I'm guessing. Yep. Get our puller on here. There we go. So luckily all the magnets look good on this magneto here. I'm sure that's very hard to find. Let's check this out, see what we got going on. These have to be set just right. Also, there's definitely some rust on the outer portion, could be causing some issues. I'll turn the clutch over here. So you can see hump right here that opens this point right here. It's hard to find a lot of information on this, but from what, and I don't have a service manual, but from what I gathered, the point gap should be 0.016 to 0.018. So let's go ahead and check that. And the point gap is right here. When you rotate this, it closes. When it gets that taper, it opens back up. So we should be that thickness. And that's 0.07. It looks way too close to me. So I'm going to have to close that gap up, and it is adjustable right here. I'm going to go ahead and open that. So you can see it moved. So I got to back it open until I get that 0.017 of a gap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up until I get that size gap in there. Now you got to be careful because you can't just slide it in. It's going to actually open this up. So that's going to be sitting down there. And we just want to go right there. Try to hold it by hand. And while that's in there, I'm going to tighten that up. We can recheck that gap. I think probably a little too loose. Close it up a little bit. There definitely wasn't much of a gap in there before. I think we're good. We'll go ahead and check it with a 0.08 to make sure we're not open too much. 0.018, I mean. Yeah, that fits in there pretty good. I'll close it up just a hair more. Okay. Pretty snug on the 0.18. Now this should close, and it does. I think that was our only issue, because I just closed this, and now you can see it's closed. Let me open it back up. I'll rotate that clutch. See how much of a gap there is? There was not hardly any gap before. So I don't know if somebody had messed with this at one time, or if it just maybe moved, something moved, I don't know. But we're looking good there. While I'm in here, I'm going to take a little sandpaper. I should have done it before I set the gap, but I'm just going to clean that up a little bit in there. And then I'll recheck. I don't think the little bit I took off is going to change anything. And check with our 0.018. Yeah, snug. I'd say it's probably 0.017. And then I'm going to clean off these external coils too, because there's a little rust on them. Now I would love to clean that out with some contact cleaner, but my brother needed it the other day. He called me up and asked if I had any for his plow, because he was having plow problems on his truck, and I said, yeah, come grab it. And I never grabbed another can. So we're just going to blow it out real good and hope for the best. Alright, we'll put this back together. Turn this over until, where's it? Oh no. I lost my keyway. There's supposed to be a keyway in there. There it is. We'll slide that back in there. Now I can install my fan, my magneto assembly. Get that on there. I'm going to vacuum this out while I got that shroud out of there. Actually, that didn't really add much. I can get that after. that back down. We'll go ahead and get this back on here. We want to make sure our wire grommet is in there. Now that can slide on. Now, it is a pain. I did it off camera, but it's a pain to get that in the mount because of the spot right here. So it might actually be easier to pull all the mounts off and lift the engine up. Here's the last one. And we'll just tighten her down very gently. We don't want to break anything. We'll get this recoil back on there. And the actual recoil. Alright, I don't have the engine mounts in there, but I want to see if it's going to fire before I have to pull everything back apart again. Should be able to see if it fires without the engine mounts. So we're just going to hook the ground up to the coil here. And the power wire. Let's see what happens this time. I don't have any of the wiring harness plugged in. I don't think I need to. And that's what I was afraid of. Nothing. Well, that sucks. Got to rip it all back apart. I really thought that was going to be the problem, but I'll have to do a little more research and find some information on this stuff so I can get some specs to test everything in there. Alright, so I have this off, but if I throw it back on there real quick, I went ahead, unsoldered the condenser here, and it appears my condenser is bad because I have, if I get that on there, and then that on the casing of it, we got nothing. So, looks like it's bad. Well, I went out back at a Rotax 399 engine, and it has the same capacitor, so I stole this one. Gonna throw that on there. This one tested good. Alright, get that soldered in there now. I don't want to throw all this back together until I see some sparks, so I'm just going to set the flywheel on here. Go ahead and put that on gently, make sure it's on the keyway. And then I'm just going to set these on here hand tight for now. So I got my plug set up here. I'm just going to rotate the engine with the impact very gently so I don't actually pull that nut off, or the bolt. Go ahead. Oh, ho, 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 ho. What do we have there? That's not showing up on the camera, is it? Maybe it is. Definitely sparking now. Now that's what we wanted to see. Let's go ahead and put this thing back together, and we still got to work on the fuel system after this, but that's a very good start. Alright, got that all back together. I don't have the motor mounts in yet, but let's give her a little pull. Oh yeah, we got spark. Beautiful. I'll get those motor mounts in, then we'll pull this carb. And pull off this whole line here. This is actually the fuel pump on this thing. So yeah, pull that off, pull all this off. Actually, that was the choke cable. This is the throttle cable, which is still froze up. It looks like this is wanting to pull, so it's actually the carburetor that's froze up, not the cable itself, which is not good. Loosen that screw, and then this can probably, yeah, so the cable's working fine. But loosen that up. Surprisingly, that set screw on that choke cable loosened up. I think, yeah, so that just turns. That's strange. I thought it pulled out and it was froze, but it doesn't actually pull out. It actually turns and what you're doing is you're turning that butterfly in there for the choke. So, all right, now we know how to use that. I told you I don't know anything about these sleds, so I'm learning as I go. All right, we're gonna have to loosen this. I don't know if I can get, yeah, we can. Loosen that throttle cable up. Slide that on over. Pull the cable out. Beautiful. Now we just got these two. Well, my gasket ripped, so I definitely don't have one of those. I'll make one. And my gas line there, it's pretty much disintegrating. It just cracked on me when I went to pull this carb off. Alright, well, we can peel the rest of that off. See how this looks in here. Pretty empty there. Just gonna, I don't have to. One section. Super clean in there so far. Try to get the other one off. The other one does not want to come off. I don't want to break that gasket. Let's see. Yeah, that's froze right up. Can't turn. Oh, there we go. Oh, no. All I did was move this. That didn't do me any good. Spray a little lube on the shaft. Same thing with that. See if we can get her freed up here. Okay, so the choke, I can move the, oh, there we go. That broke free, and that's moving nice and easy now. That's good. Still gonna work it a little bit, but it feels good. I don't know if you can see in there, but it is opening and closing. She's coming. Some sticky, but she loosened up. Now she's working. Beautiful. She's almost there. It's returning until I go all the way fully open, then it doesn't return, so gotta keep working it. After a while of working that lube in there, I can go full throttle, let go, returns perfect now. So I'm a little on the scared side to actually pull this off because I don't have a gasket. There's no way I can make that gasket. So I'll have to get a repair kit for this thing. But let's go ahead and throw it back together and see if we can get this thing running. Alright, tighten that back up. Gotta make my new gasket here. Clean up all the old gasket material off of there. Get the new and improved gasket. Now on our carburetor goes. Go ahead and get that tightened down. Throttle cable back on there. Feed it through that hole. Ooh. She works, but that is some hard to push. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. Might work itself in, I guess. Getting a little better. Still very hard to push. And then our choke. That can go right there. And we'll tighten that little set screw up. Yeah, she's working. Choked, not choked. Choked, not choked. Place this fuel line, at least on this side, because I mean, it just snapped right in half. I guess this is a little, not quite as brittle up here, but still. Go ahead and install this on the carburetor. Alright, I got a gallon of gas in here, got some 2-stroke engine oil. We're going to go ahead and mix up 40-to-1 ratio. It looks to be about good there. Dump that in. Give that a good shaking. We're gonna give her a whirl. Why not, right? Tank looks pretty good. There's a fuel filter on there. I don't know what size tank this is. It can't be real big. You know, most snowmobiles nowadays have 12-gallon tanks or so. This, I don't know. Looks like, doesn't even look like a 5-gallon jug, but you never know. There's a gallon. Let's see how far we can get with that. We'll see if it pumps up anyways. Hook this up right there onto the carburetor. Try anyways. All right, we'll get that on there. And so this is the port that gives the vacuum draw. I'm gonna go ahead and manually get that fuel coming up through here. And how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna go ahead and create a pulsating motion with my mouth, like push in, breathe in, you know, push in, breathe out, go. I don't see anything coming through that line. Maybe I better try to get it through there first. So let's see. We got nothing in here. So I'm thinking we got a problem with the fuel line going into the tank. So what I'm gonna do, I mixed up another batch of gas. Another gallon right here. So I'm gonna try to run off this jug here. For now, to see what we get, if anything. Maybe I'll try to force it up through to begin with. A little too much. got some fuel in the line now. Well, we're gonna see what we can see what happens here. Yeah, we'll get the spark plug in here and see if we can make something happen. Alright, so we have no kill switch or anything like that. Everything's on. I'm going to turn the choke on. Make sure that's nice and loose. I vote that we give her a little help. Oh, she's gonna run. She just gotta get some fuel in there. She's running, and it actually sounds really good. So we're going to be able to try this thing out today. I'm going to see if I can get that back tank fixed up so I can actually have a gas tank instead of running off a gallon jug. But I think right about now we should probably see what's under all this dust. Let's go ahead and clean this up, see how it cleans up. That way we'll be ready for a ride. Go ahead and wet it down, and then I'll rinse it up or wash it off with some rags. Yeah, I can start to see through there now. Kind of want to do the inside. I didn't know how that windshield was going to come out, but it looks like it's going to clean up pretty decent. Look at the difference in that windshield from that half to that half. And I actually rinsed off this side already on the outside. What a difference. Moving on to the leopard print seat. The seat is in great shape. Just gonna get rid of all the grime on it. Look at the difference in that thing. And I just scrubbed a little bit. Man, if you detailed this thing up, it would be beautiful. Look at the seat. I didn't know that was under there. Yes, she is beautiful. So now I'm gonna come in here. I'm gonna see if I can grab that pickup tube if I can find it. Thought I saw it when the tank was empty. Let's see if I can unsnap these without ripping anything. Man, even these, all the buttons are still there. All the Arctic Cat buttons. Yeah, there we go. So is it ripped off in here probably? Maybe, I don't know. Pull that out. There we go. So I get this So I got this out of here. This is a filter. I don't know if it's supposed to have a check valve. A lot of them do, so the fuel doesn't drain back in the tank. But I can blow through this one and suck it through. So I think we might have an issue there. Should really replace this line. Oh boy. I'm definitely going to replace this line. So I think we're going to be able to use this tank. I'm going to go ahead and dump this other gallon in there to give her some more fuel. That stuff looks awfully light even though it's mixed 40-1. Where are ya? There it is. Now we can put this. Now this, I can breathe through it. I cannot push through it. I cannot blow through it. So the check valve, you can hear it in there. Check valve's working fine. But I got it on there. And now we're going to drop it in the tank. Hopefully that sinks down all the way. I'll try to unbuckle this here. Nice. Slide that up. Yeah. 1 chunk, 2 chunk, 3, 4. Got the choke off. I'm gonna spray a little gas in there. See if we can get her fired up. It's a close one. Come on, girl. Listen to that thing purr. That thing, let's get it outside. She's a runner. Let's give her a whirl. Oh man, this makes me happy. All right, oh boy, we're sitting on the ground. Uh-oh. Come on, girl. Maybe we better not go down the hill. It actually feels like a pretty torquey engine. Oh, she's not turning the best. Oh, heck with it. We'll just go out back, right? Sorry, Jeff. Hope you don't mind me going through here. Oh, yeah. Come on, girl. You can do it. She sounded so good. But now she's cutting out a little bit. It probably needs a new spark plug. I don't know how old that one is in there, but you know what? She's running. I don't care. I didn't have a new plug for this thing. Didn't have anything to switch it over. There it is. Boy, I kind of like the sound of it. It's different. Definitely different. Doesn't sound like a twin cylinder, but it doesn't sound like a single cylinder, you know, normal piston combustion engine. Yeah, probably better order a carburetor kit for this thing as well. Carb kit, new spark plug, maybe some new points and condenser. You know, that was a used condenser, but it seems to be working fine. Oh man, I'm gonna have some fun with this thing. Oh, can we make it up? This thing actually goes pretty decent. Hammer down. Oh yeah, we're not running the best. Come on, girl. I don't know how fast this thing goes, but I'm sure it's got more than that when she's running right. Maybe not. I mean, it is a single cylinder. The brakes even work on it.
Almost got a whistle to it when it's idled down low. Sounds like a turbo. Now we're talking 1971 Arctic Cat. Oh boy. Yeah, we don't have good stopping power. Those cleats, I mean, they're better than a rubber track, I guess, on some surfaces. On like side hills though, I ran a Polaris TX340 air cooled, and I ran it on some ice going down this way. You just skate right out of sight. Actually, I didn't even show you the. I'll show you the track. It's actually in nice shape. Oh, she ain't gonna idle. I don't know. I think you can see it, but it's in really nice shape. Hopefully, this thing starts back up. Come on, girl. The only problem with this, you have to open the hood to get the recoil on this. There we go. Yeah, she's not running the best. Hopefully it's not sucking air through like crank seals or something, but I don't know if I can even get them for this thing. Oh man. This is, I honestly, I didn't know if I was expecting this thing to run or not. I kind of thought it would, just because of the shape it was in. But man, this thing's actually in better shape than I thought it was to begin with. Whoa, she's a little tippy. Drive her up on here. This thing putts along, and I'm telling you, it gets super good traction. Just putting right along. I don't know if we cut off. I've been up through here before with other stuff, but this looks like fresh stuff, and it actually goes good. This long track on the Panther. Now a hammer down. Yeah, probably some tuning to the carburetor. Probably better check the spark plug, see how she's running, if it's lean, rich, whatever it's doing. It actually seems pretty good there. I don't know. This thing doesn't seem like it's screaming, but maybe that's just how the rotary engines are. I have no idea. Single cylinder rotary. Yeah, she's cutting out right there. This thing does have a, it has a hitch on the back, and I bet you could pull with this thing. This thing takes off like, I mean, just give it a hair throttle, the RPM's barely increasing, it takes off. And she's shifting good. You know, that clutch is shifting out good. For as old as this thing is, what did I say? It's 71, so it's 53 years old. It rides pretty decent. I can't complain about this thing at all. I think she's picking up a little speed here. Oh man, I'm gonna have more fun on this thing than any newer sled. Oh boy. I can't believe the brakes aren't locked up. Oh girl. Yeah, I don't know if you hear that whistling right there. I don't know if that's how these engines sound or if that's an air leak. I don't want to blow this thing up, so I probably better pull the plug, make sure it's not running super lean, and then we'll go from there. But I think I found myself a new vintage rider for sure. Oh, what do you think? What do you think? Can we do it? Oh my goodness, we did. Got a little air on that one. Oh boy. I am literally going to have more fun on this thing than anything I own. It's just, I don't know. You probably don't know what I mean until you drive something old and slow, and it's just... I'm going to leave her right up here. Oh, yeah, she's falling down anyways. Oh my goodness. Listen to that beast. I got the thing plugged in right now. It sounds like a cammed two-stroke. Let's see if the headlights work. I do have it plugged in. Ah, no headlights. Might have to do some wiring. Rear ones. No, none of them. Seems to be idling okay though. What a beast. Yeah, see what I mean? Just touch it. I think it's idled up a little high. Oh, no, she don't like it. Oh, boy. Well, there she is. 1971 Arctic Cat Panther 303. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to enjoy that thing, and I'll catch you on the next one.